What's up, everybody? I am James Hake. It is Monday, April 18th, 2022, AD, Anno Domini. That's the year of our Lord. And it is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific, what is that? Daylight time here in Los Angeles. I will be getting to your calls. Happy Easter, everybody. Some people celebrate Easter Monday. I don't know what that means. But hope you had a happy Easter. We will be playing some clips, and actually somebody died doing a performance. That's crazy. I just saw a headline about that. I don't know much about it. But, you know, the people are hating the Christians, including Ilhan Omar. Did you hear about that? Oh my gosh, ridiculous. I'm also going to talk about a little bit about my debate. Did you guys catch my debate on Modern Day Debate on Saturday versus Fanatiq, the guy who has appeared on The Fallen State, on the Hake Report. He had me on his show. I debated against Destiny. I don't remember what, maybe the January 6th mostly peaceful Capitol protest and some other things. We'll talk a little bit about censorship. Is Elon Musk going to be able to get Twitter? Meanwhile, Libs of Tik Tok, very effective account, very interesting account, suspended again, I heard. As of Friday, anyway. And some other things going on. And, of course, your calls and your super chats. I appreciate those, guys. You can super chat in. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Let me actually drag in the Modern Day Debate Disney Kids thumbnail from Modern Day Debate into the folder there. Disney is so beta, says LUKA over there in the chat. How are you guys doing? I am fine. Hope you had a nice weekend. It is Monday. I had a nice weekend. Took Saturday for the most part off. You know, had a nice Sabbath. Take the day off, right? Day of rest. Hopefully remember the Lord. But then I had to waltz back into this building. I didn't have to, but I agreed to and appeared on Modern Day Debate. Very nice. Shout out to James Kuntz over there, having me on Modern Day Debate quite frequently. I wonder why they like me so much. Maybe partly because of the live chatters. We have an excellent live chat, an excellent snake pit, right? As snake pits go, ours is pretty nice. Oh, man. But anyway, happy Easter, guys. We did have a good Friday. We had a good Sunday service, Sunday service, also known as Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Shout out to those people. Women's Forum is coming up, by the way, guys. Ladies, I should say, not for guys. As in, when I say guys, I mean like the gals. Women's forums are third Thursday of the month. Men's forums are first Thursday of the month. I like to remind you because don't miss them. They're excellent. At least the men's forums are excellent. And I presume the women's forums can be quite deep as well. The women are honest, oftentimes. Nice. I will get to your calls. Some of you want to comment on Modern Day Debate, and some of you want to comment on like hidden messages in movies. And I'm more concerned about the overt ones, but yeah, that happens too. But first, let me share with you some mess going on with the Christian haters. Ever heard of them? Such as Ilhan Omar. I saw these headlines, and I saw this trending on Twitter. Actually, I saw Cernovich tweet it. And he thanked her for sharing this clip of Christians on a plane singing a song in flight 30,000 feet in the air, supposedly, worshiping the Lord. And it is Easter. And Representative Ilhan Omar, who's supposedly an American representative, she's really a Muslim refugee. She's Somalian, but she came here by way of like Kenya or something like that, way back. And some think that she pulled some shenanigans to get her brother here, like married him or something like that, for committing some type of immigration fraud or whatever. You know, they have this chain migration stuff going on. But New York Daily News, another unchristian, anti-Christian outlet, tweeted, Representative Ilhan Omar saw a video of Christians singing on a plane. This woman is out of Minnesota. She's really out of her mind and out of Somalia, but she should go back, but that's beside the point. Since then, she asked a question on social media. She then asked a question on social media, what would happen if Muslims did the same? And that's an article by Brian Niemitz, N-I-E-M-I-E-T-Z, who's probably also a fellow non-Christian alongside her, right? Daily Mail tweeted the same thing, or tweeted out this same story with another take. Why do you hate Christians? Ilhan Omar was mocked for attacking a video of passengers singing. So let me share this clip. It's clip 11, I think, hopefully. Tweet from Ilhan out of Minnesota. And you can see, if you're watching the video, you can see a screenshot of this guy playing his guitar. People with their cell phones out. Most people look like they're maybe even enjoying this. Tell me if you would enjoy this. Just a 19-second clip. Ilhan Omar tweeted this out, saying, I think my family and I should have a prayer session next time I am on a plane. How do you think it will end? So there she is trolling. Nick asks, the question is, how long was this worship sesh? Well, here's 19 seconds of it. Enjoy, you musical Philistines, or I don't think it's worth pressing mute. Here it is. Enjoy. That man didn't look like he was enjoying it. I have a screenshot of like the guy playing the guitar right next to this man who's not really smiling or not really involved, just sitting there. I don't know if he's unhappy, but it's just kind of funny. And I don't know if that's even his wife. I just profiled her as being a wife, but she's like kind of smiling. Maybe she's more upset than he is, but maybe she's smiling, maybe she's happy. It's hard to say. The guy looks kind of like forlorn and broken. But, you know, you just capture somebody in the middle of an expression. You have no idea what's really on his mind. But there's a girl sitting in the back or standing in the back, further back anyway. Is that off key? Jack Jens Jr. put this out on TikTok. Worshiping Jesus 30,000 feet in the air. And this Ilhan Omar woman got this, not from the Christian TikToker. No, she got it from this guy named, you guys have maybe seen him if you spend any time on Twitter. He tweets out viral videos and, you know, leeches off for more viralness for himself, right? Dave New World _2. I've talked about him before. He's a dumb liberal. POC, hates whites, hates Christians, apparently. 50 Shades of Way is his whatever username. Imagine you get on a plane and you have to listen to this. I know. I can relate to Nick. Question is, how long was this? Maybe. But they're bitter. Bitter, not better. Here's, by the way, speaking of Easter and what some might call misguided, I don't know. Some apparent Christian hater named Tim tweeted out this clip 12 here. Easter parade in Gallipolis Ferry, West Virginia. And they're having like these floats, and they have actors somebody acting as though he's portraying Jesus being nailed to the cross. And you'll hear in this clip, it's just a short 13-second clip, you'll hear this clip of like the hammer going down on the nail, and a guy's like, and women screaming in another clip of a different float, but in the same West Virginia town, Gallipolis Ferry. They're going after the Christians hard. I wonder whose idea this was to portray it like this, but here it is. Great Easter parade today. Dang. I don't think Mary was screaming like that. I hope not. The real Mary, way back when this actually happened. But I don't know. EBB says Ilhan Omar prefers the soothing sound of Allahu Akbar. Allah. I mean, I'm referencing something that actually happened. It's like a viral video of this guy who was dropping mortars, dropping mortars to like shoot out, and then one like exploded on him or something like that. Or else they exploded him. The opposition. Crazy. But I don't know, is that misguided? Whatever. Here's one more from another airplane. Maybe it's that same airplane, I can't tell. Clip 13. More anti-Christians over there on Twitter, bashing the people. Amen to me, sharing from Latin snakes on a plane versus Christians on a plane. What's your favorite? Listen to this prayer, and he's calling people to repentance on the plane. Yikes. Here it is.
Jesus, the Bible says all you have to do is repent and give your life to Jesus. And if there's anybody in here tonight that would like to do that, would you raise your hand? Amen. Amen. So right now, just say, Jesus.
Jesus.
I give you my life.
I give you my life.
Fill me with the Holy Spirit.
Fill me with the Holy Spirit.
And change my life.
And change my life.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
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 What a mess. But, I mean, they were participating. So, hey. Captive audience. Yeah, I know. That's partly what I don't like about it. Taking care of businesses. Flying is bad enough. The last thing someone needs is some blank screeching and playing bad guitar. I know, especially if it's off key. Come on. They do the same thing like the Lion King. I think, didn't the Lion King cast push that stuff out there? Like they do these off-the-cuff singing and all that mess. I'm like, sit down. Not good. But anyway, bitter and nasty people. Taking any excuse to mock and hate the Christians. And some of the Christians are doing the best they can. They don't know, right? And there's more effective, phony, emotional propaganda out there. I'm going to cover, what's that guy's name? Who's the president? Joe Biden. Sleazy Joe Biden. He's supposedly the president, right? He put out this video that shows him is basically appealing to the women about him being all sensitive and keeping marriages together and fighting for gun safety. Ridiculous. I just happened to share it. See it. I'm going to share it with you. But I don't know. Chris Connor says, it sounded so bad. Are you talking about the singing on that plane? The worship song? Hey, I don't think you would want a plane full of American Muslims. Isn't that kind of a... oh, they'll do it. They'll get in your face. I suppose I'd rather have the praying and the singing than, like, blacks fighting and yelling. Or That guy in the Burger King hat, he was kind of funny. The guy who said, N-word, B-word. But I think he might have been provoked. I'd rather have it than, hijackers. That's for sure. But there's a right way to be and a wrong way to be. I can admit. Making Christians look dumb, annoying, and weak, says Captain David. Yeah, or Canadian David, Captain. I can't read. Can't read this morning. It's Monday. No plane I'd have been on would let that happen. Yeah, maybe not. To me, it's like, I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit later. Let me get to some calls. How about, right? Let me get to Bobby out of Texas. He wants to talk about the debate this past Saturday, I think. Bobby in Texas, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing well.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, I caught your debate. It was the feed that they uploaded wasn't the best. Like, it was kind of, at least the one I got was loading quite frequently.
Oh.
So it's kind of.
Was it live? Was it a live? You caught it live or you caught it after the fact?
I caught it after the fact.
Huh. Okay. And it wasn't on your end. Other videos were working.
Yeah, other stuff worked fine, but when I watched that one, I would get I'd have to restart it repeatedly and miss. And there was a lot of that, with that other guy, Fanatiq was freezing up a lot just on his own end. So maybe it was something along the path, because I think that Cass said his machine was kind of having issues as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wonder if anybody else was having issues.
I thought you did a great job, man. I thought you were really a lot more aggressive than you have been in the past, and not in a bad way, but just much more not just accepting your role as I'm going to sit here and defend this topic the whole time. You put the pressure back on him. And I mean, they couldn't have found a worse person to be on that panel. That guy didn't, what was he even doing there? He agreed with everything. His opening statement was basically, oh yeah, they are doing all this, but I think they're a free company and they can do whatever they want. Yeah. It's nobody's arguing that. That's not even what are you talking about? Nobody's saying that we should, people are saying, boycott Disney, do your own, but they are a private company. I don't care. If they want to do what they want to do, that's their, if you want to be crazy and do crazy stuff and you own a business, I guess you can do whatever you want.
Right. But that wasn't even the point. Oh, Disney's a private company. That was the debate. Wasn't the question. True.
The debate is Disney woke and are they targeting children? Oh yeah. Yeah, they are. All right, debate's over. I won championship. Give me my belt. What are we doing? What are we doing here? But I'm going to sit here and try and make a point that, they have freedom, and you don't believe in freedom, Hake. You don't believe in freedom. It's of course I believe in freedom. What are you talking about? That's not even what we're here about. We want to have a freedom debate. We can do that all day too.
Yeah.
But as far as just coming at that without any why would you even come on the show if you don't have, a counter argument to it?
Yeah.
If your only argument is they're a private company and they can do what they want. Yeah, agreed. They can, but that's not the question we're here for. We're here to debate, are they woke? And they are extremely woke, and they're getting woker every single day.
I know. It's ridiculous. And
I don't even let my kids watch Disney post 95, very few, maybe Toy Story. But, that's about the most modern I like to let him go into. I avoid all that other stuff, anything that's modern or, to a degree, anything that I can tell seems like there's something, in that liberal agenda in it. I try and shelter them away from it.
Nice, man. For your children. That's cool.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Joe Lewis, who is on Twitter, Duma Damu, Dumadamu. He's a Twitch streamer. Actually, I think he's a Twitch partner. I could be mistaken on that. But anyway, he had to cancel, but he found Fanatiq, who's, you may be familiar with Fanatiq because he's been on my show and on the Fallen State, and I've been on his show once.
I have seen a debate with him.
Yeah.
I think he was hosting it.
Yeah, he hosted a debate with me and Destiny and that annoying girl, probably the single most annoying woman. She was nice, but annoying. Overly
was that
talkative.
one? Yeah. She
about
was
J.
like,
Yeah, it was about J6.
Yeah.
You were criticizing me on my handling of that J6 debate. It was with him. He was the one who hosted
I think it would have been better had that girl not been there. I think she was just like drawing it astray. Like she wasn't doing anything but making problems. Like
yeah.
You just need to shush. Let the men talk because like, you're just talking crazy. Like, and she's trying. She's on the right side, but she's just like completely wrong about everything. It's like we don't want you on our side.
Yeah, I know.
Go talk for the other team because you're not good at this.
Poor lady. Yeah, that guy Kaz guest hosted for Modern Day Debate instead of James Kuntz, and I've been on a couple of appearances now where Kaz K-A-Z guest hosted for Modern Day Debate for me, and he seems like a decent guy. But I appreciate them having me on. It's kind of cool. Somebody was saying,
I thought you did really well. Like in this one, I thought you really stepped up your aggressiveness to the topic rather than just kind of sitting back and accepting every question to be for you and having to answer over and over and defend a subject.
I think I know what you mean because, I said not only is it quote unquote woke and targeting kids, I say to like the extent that it was, and in like the J6 things, I could say, yes, it was a riot. The riot aspect was wrong. But there's a whole lot of other stuff that you guys are not addressing. So I think I can kind of understand what you mean there. Nice.
Yeah, because there's just too much of like, when you get into those debates, especially like when you're on like the hippy dippy because you're just so outnumbered, it's hard to put that back on to, 8 people. It's like, so I'll go from, defending this one topic, and then it's just going to be over and over again because you're the only person that's speaking, for the other side. So it's like, I can sit here and try and put questions out to people, but it's just going to come, directly back in that situation. But when it's a one-on-one, it's like, that's what I noticed about, like, when I talked about the debate about transgenders in sports, like he was like, there was a lot, he wasn't great at it because he talked over and there was a lot of like just commotion.
Okay.
Like,
you're referring to
you're
referring to the modern day debate, Alex Stein versus, man, who was that? Who was it? The liberal on that thing?
Oh, your buddy.
Oh, Brenton Langle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, there was like a lot of commotion where they were just talking over and he wasn't getting any points out, but he did, a lot of like what you were doing with the aggressiveness and just like not just answering and
nice,
forcing them to agree to a point, to a premise rather than just, accepting that you're here to talk about, and answer all these questions.
Right.
And I thought you did that a lot better in this one where you were forcing him to, I don't know what woke is. Like,
I know, that was ridiculous.
Anything. And then even after you explain it to him, he's like, I don't know. Yeah,
I know. He acted like I didn't even define what woke is. I mean, I don't know how much more clear I could get. It's BLM, it's LGBT, and it's feminist. And but he claimed that I didn't define it. So I don't know.
Yeah, so can we just like, based off what I've said, can we use that as a baseline for what that? I don't know.
Right.
I'm not sure if what woke means. Like it could mean something different to everyone.
Yeah.
No, I think it's pretty common what it means for both sides. It's like it's not it's this totally ambiguous definition that could be anything. It's pretty clear. But
there were a
good
couple
job,
of
man. I appreciate it. It's fun to watch.
Nice, man. Thanks for checking it out, and thank you for the feedback. It's good to hear from you, Bobby.
Yeah.
All right.
You too. Thanks, buddy.
Take care. Before I get back to calls, let me read a few super chats. Got quite a few, actually, over there on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Based America First said, Happy Resurrection Sunday. Thank you, Based America First. That's what many of the Christians call Easter Sunday, because that's the same day that Jesus was resurrected from the dead. And that's why we call it Easter and celebrate Easter? It is because it's Resurrection Sunday. Nice. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Willie Powell says, hey, I'll be watching you debating at MDD tonight. You were always on fire. And that was on Friday that he sent that. I appreciate that, Willie Powell. And thank you to your girlfriend for the genuine advice for Jeremiah. I read it toward the end of Friday's show. I don't know if Jeremiah had caught her comments. Let me just read it again because it was good advice, I think. Some genuine advice, Jeremiah. You approach Hake with acrimony. Acrimony is kind of like malice, hatred, and bitterness, and come off as brash when sharing your interpretation of biblical edicts. Please practice humility. Your current approach is making you come off as unlikable and immediately turns off audience. That's fair. Appreciate that, your girlfriend. And I think that he might appreciate that as well. Lord Bibby42 says, Hake, I have a lot to say about this lame Fanatiq phony. Fanatiq, the black guy who's a talented musician whom I've talked with a number of times now. And JLP interviewed him on The Fallen State some months back. I've seen him in a handful of interviews and debates, and he concedes to points but makes backhanded retorts, much like insinuating, I'm a male feminist. I've never stated I support feminism, you bum. Interesting. Thank you, Lord Bibby42. Can women work? Sure. It's no skin off my back, says Lord Bibby42. But women in the military, police force, construction, security, etc., they have no business in these professions. And I have zero sympathy when they then cry about not being able to uphold the standard. And I know, now they're lowering the standard of, like, the military so that they can hack it, and even then. And then there's cries of, like, rape and different things like that, because men and women end up sleeping together because they're immoral, and you're mixing them together. You don't mix them together. You're just adding temptation. What a mess. Thank you, Lord Bibby42, who also says, Fanatiq is the type of guy who is submissive to whatever he needs to be in order to save his own skin. He was losing the debate so bad, he tried to bring up your views on slavery, hoping to turn the tide in a last-ditch effort, and it did not work. Yeah, I know. I'm like, how about some white appreciation? And there were people who said Western kind, which is another word for white men, abolished slavery. Lord Bibby42 says, great job with the debate, Hake, Fanatiq. I call him Fanatiq because it has a Q at the end, IQ at the end. But Fanatiq, talented musician, continues exposing himself as a liar he is. He plays dumb and hides behind fake naivete, or naivety. He lost so bad he started cutting his lights off in the room to hide his lying face. He's a disgrace to men everywhere. John WX25 says, watch your debate with that deceitful beta fake Christian. You are an excellent debater, fearless with the truth on your side. All he could do was play dumb and prance around his so-called truth. Well, thank you, Lord Bibby. Lord. No, not Lord at all. John WX25. Appreciate that, man. You know what, Hake? Says Lord Bibby42. What do I know? I'm just a CWP, Caucasian white person. Living in a POC's world, the people of color's world. I know. They hate us. Because they ain't us. What a mess. King Alpha Nerd with the super chat says, it's my birthday, Hake. I'm sorry, I thought this was America. Is this America? I'm sorry, I thought this was America. Can I get a till this day from Skateboard Chris? Well, yes, you can, King Alpha Nerd. You can. And happy birthday. And happy birthday. I interrupted the to this day, but yes. It's actually my birthday, too, to this day. Or no.
You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day.
That's right. Almost 400 days of Hake's birthday. We're almost there. Thank you, King Alpha Nerd, and happy birthday, man. That's cool. A real birthday. Brandon M. gave a super chat a couple of days ago, I think on Friday, referring to Tony from California, the guy who says he's a trucker. He runs a trucking business, and he's not affected at all by the California AB, what is that, 36 or something like that? That says, you can't have an independent contractor who works for a company that works in the same field as the independent contractor. you have to give them benefits and call them employees. It's an attack on Uber and, well, Uber people, the people who do Uber and Uber Eats and all that stuff. And it's also an attack on the truckers. Brandon M. says, oh, yeah, this guy, Tony, he said, oh, the Republicans are stopping the people at the border, stopping the trucks at the border, making them have long delays. And I read a little bit of a news report about this. I may tell you a little bit about it just to rehash it. And it's the Republicans messing up the economy. I'm like, how about the Democrats? And the Democrats are letting in the illegals. Oh, no, that's not happening. Brandon M. says, being from Texas, we have stories of tractor trailers full of messy cans. Oh, yeah, I mentioned this. Being found at checkpoints north of the border or dumped. What's Tony's big-brained logic with that? And he said, oh, they go through, what do they go through? That he said, X-rays, and they have the dogs walk around while they're checking their paperwork. It just takes 5 minutes. And I don't know about this guy, this governor. He may be inept. You know, the rhino governor of California. I mean, California, him too, but he's not rhino. The rhino governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. I don't know. But Asmodor has some super chats regarding the, at least one regarding this airplane mess, I think. This type of performative repeat after me is blasphemous. No one's getting saved because they said 3 lines on a plane that a preacher told them to repeat. It is 100% performative. And he calls it blasphemous. Yeah, I mean, people, it's kind of like what JLP says. People just say, oh, I accept Jesus. They say that. They have no idea what it actually means. And think that it's going to work for them. Or make excuses. Oh, we're always going to continue sinning until death. For why it's not working for them. Crazy. Did anybody else have issues streaming or playing the YouTube video? Asmodor states the replays don't stream from anyone's machine. They stream from YouTube's server. Yeah, once the live stream is over, it's up on YouTube's server. Maybe it was still processing or something. For Bobby in Texas. If anybody had any issues watching it, it may have been on your own end, or maybe it was on YouTube's end. Not sure. Asmodor states about the debate feedback. This is a free country and a private business can do what it wants. Is not true when the company targets children with perversion. Come on, Bobby. Yeah, good point. Fair point. And that's something that I tried to say too. I'm like, we used to have indecency laws. Because I heard from a guy, a journalist and researcher and activist, Real Vincent James, that we have public indecency laws or somewhat degeneracy, but we don't enforce them. So wrong. Chris says a company can't do whatever it wants. Yeah, good point. Very, very true. Asmodor states, if the X-rays, dogs, and scans work so well, how do all of these drugs and illegals get into the country? Yeah. Porous borders, we need a wall, and we need better security, I argue, at the checkpoints. And maybe we should have more honest people in the Border Patrol and in the checkpoints and in general who we let into the country. What a mess. Anyway, thank you guys for the super chats. Before I get back to calls, you can call in 888-775-3773. I am, by the way, just a quick side note, I am wearing my Uniting the Races with Truth instead of Dividing Them with Lies t-shirt. It's not my t-shirt. It's mine because I bought it, but it is a Jesse Lee Peterson t-shirt that is available through Jesse Lee Peterson's Spreadshirt store. It's a tongue twister, I guess. But you have to go to rebuildingtheman.com/stores, or you can, in order to find this t-shirt or others. Very nice. Thank you for that. And by the way, if you want to support me, you can go to thehakereport.com, and there is a Teespring link in the menu. And if you go to thehakereport.com, you'll see among the ways to stream and audio podcasts. Below that is ways to support. You can super chat through streamlabs.com/thehakereport or through odyssey.com/@thehakereport, or you can support through Subscribestar, and shout out to the Subscribestar supporters. And if you're a regular super chatter on Odyssey or Streamlabs, hit me up if you want the Subscribestar content, exclusive content. But thank you guys for joining and supporting Hake on Subscribestar. $3 or $5 or $10, whatever you want to do, and you get the exclusive content. I go out in the neighborhood, walk around outside Bond here, beautiful neighborhood, and I chat it up, maybe a little bit more personal. Hopefully it's anyway, it's another way to support. Thank you guys. And you can support JLP on a Subscribestar as well. You know, Patreon banned us. Very nice. But that's cool. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Anyway, let me get to Alexander in California briefly here. Alexander, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, Hake. How are you doing?
Doing fine. Thank you.
I cannot complain at all. I am so fortunate with my white privilege and with my, some argue, Jewish privilege and things like that.
And you're part Asian or Pacific Islander too, huh?
Well, it depends. I have this very interesting DNA test result that kind of proves we're in a simulation. Because if you take the max possibility of each piece of racial European DNA, it adds up to me being over 100% racially European. So at some point, if you guys could show my DNA test results on the show,
no, man,
that would probably
that.
entertain a lot of people.
No.
What?
Anyway.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me get to the point of my call now, Hake, okay?
Well, first, let me wish you a happy Easter. Since I know that you're a John Fugelsang Christian, I would imagine that you celebrated Easter.
What?
You celebrated Easter?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Yeah, is that your question? I talked over you a little bit. I'm sorry, Hake. What was your question again?
Happy Easter. Did you celebrate Easter?
Yes, I did.
Nice, man. Cool. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, in a lot of movies, the hidden moral is to be skeptical of authority. Examples are one, Kung Fu Panda. Oogway is the hidden villain, Master Oogway the turtle. He set Tai Lung up to get locked up. He let Shifu tell him all the time that he was going to be the Dragon Warrior, but then he didn't give him the ring, the Dragon Warrior thing.
Hey. Don't spoil the movie, man. Some people have not seen Kung Fu Panda.
I'm sorry. It's just... And
then on top of it, not everybody has seen it. So not everybody knows who you're talking about. I can't even. Okay, I've seen it, and I can't even keep up with all these different names that you're rattling off. But
let me get to the point. I'm sorry, Hake. I'm sorry. I feel really bad.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, the hidden thing is that in Kung Fu Panda, I might have to spoil a little bit. Is that okay?
Try not to spoil it. Just tell us what the hidden message is.
To be skeptical of authority, that's the hidden moral in films, that you got to be skeptical of authority and you got to question it. That's the hidden moral in the movies.
Okay.
In Kung Fu Panda and in The Incredibles, that's the hidden message.
Oh, okay. Nice, man. You watch a lot of cartoon movies, huh?
I do that because I don't. I do.
Yeah, because you referenced another movie that was a cartoon movie from a while. Yeah. Huh. Well, man, it's nice to hear from you, Alexander. I wish you well.
Okay, you want me to hang up now, or you were telling me the other day you were responding to my email without saying what it was all about, but then I hung up because I didn't have a lot of time. You were going to respond to my email. Remember that, Hake?
I don't exactly remember, but I know that you were thinking of doing something ill-advised, and I encourage you to be a Christian and be serious about being a Christian, at least a little bit more serious about the moral aspect.
I care about that stuff.
Oh, okay. He's your leader?
Well, kind of. He's against organized religion, which goes back to my point of why be skeptical of authority is sometimes a good thing. He said on the JLP...
Why aren't you skeptical of John Fugelsang's authority?
Well, because he doesn't say a lot of things that are outright. He says he concedes a lot of the time that he does not have a lot of moral authority. He
That's
says
for sure.
that on the... So that's the thing with John. It's hard to be skeptical of someone who claims so little.
Then why are you a John Fugelsang Christian if he's just a
I'm
nothing
not really.
person?
I am... What?
Why are you a John Fugelsang Christian if he's such a nothing person? He's not even a real Christian.
Well, really, no one is. That it was really, if you think about it, everyone's a nothing person when it comes down to it, James.
No, but he stands for no actual morality. He doesn't stand for Christianity.
He says that people should love each other all they can. His TED Talk,
Do you know what love is?
Was bad. I know what love is. Love is the absence of hate. That's what love is.
But you think that he thinks that that's what that is?
Well,
because he thinks that JLP. Did you know that John Fugelsang thinks that JLP hates blacks? So he doesn't know what love is.
Well, let me go on with that. He has said in his TED Talk, or at least the beginning part of his TED Talk, that he should not get angry with people because then he ends up becoming like who he hates. John Fugelsang said that in the beginning of his TED Talk, but then on the JLP show, he said that anger is sometimes okay if it leads to constructive outrage. So he's inconsistent sometimes with anger. I believe anger is never okay, so in a way, I'm not a John Fugelsang Christian. I just believe in I just have a lot of beliefs in common with him. I'm a free thinker is what I am.
No such thing.
Yes, there is.
No.
I'm a critical thinker.
Nope.
Well, why not?
Because you're not thinking freely. No one thinks freely.
Yes, I am. What? No one does?
What does it mean? What does it mean to think freely?
There is no free will, so you're kind of right. I'm not dogmatic. I don't have like some dogmatic belief system where I just follow whatever they tell me to do. I became an anti-racist from free thinking. I have never watched an entire anti-racism lecture. I slowly thought for myself that my beliefs began to resemble very closely those of anti-racist people.
But there's no such thing as thinking for yourself, man.
Why not?
Because you don't... the thinking comes to you from either God or Satan.
Well, okay then. My thinking, you're going to say comes from Satan. I say it comes from God, my thinking.
Okay. Well, I wish you well, man. It's nice to hear from you, Alexander. Take care.
Likewise, Hake. And I'm against race mixing all the way. I'm always against it. Okay.
All right, man. Happy Easter to you.
Bye, James.
Bye. Another super chat from Brandon M. says, Hake, the best way to help Alexander is stop giving him your platform and tell him go outside and talk to a woman. Or in his case, feminine men. I disavow that. Please stop giving him your time. You know what? You may be right, because he is a attention seeker. Thank you, Brandon M. Appreciate the super chat. Poor guy. I encouraged him to get a job, and he founded a nonprofit. What a mess. Who's the insane person? The insane person or the person trying to have a sane conversation with the insane person? Terrible, huh? Shameful. Oh, man, it's getting warm in here. Can we turn on the AC? Thank you. Let me get to Gabriel, or is it GABRIEL, in Toronto, Canada. I think he might have been tuning into the modern day debate. How are you doing, GABRIEL?
All is well, James. How are you?
All is well as well. Thank you, man. Is that how you spell your name, the way that is spelled on those super chats that you were giving on modern day debate, I presume? Was that you?
This is a Russian way of spelling it with the English letters.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a mess.
But we just can spell it Gabriel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
James, I just want to make a note because he read my question very last, but my crooked fingers aren't, or I don't know, maybe YouTube against me. But it's auto-corrected, and the word compensate showed as composted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if for the listeners, if I may, real quick, a story. So
can you rehash what your super chat stated in your own words, if you don't have a direct quote? Go ahead.
Yeah,
what did
in
it
general.
say?
So we had a elder man who was living with us, and one day I asked my father. I said, "Father, is this my second grandpa or is this my uncle?" And my father told me that was an old man named Vacha, and he had no family or no recollection of it. My grandpa gave him place like a shelter to stay. He would eat with us, and my grandfather, he would compensate him a little bit, not like a real worker, for helping around in the yard. And lots of times my grandpa would send me to help him, right, as a child. So I would go and help him work. He was an elderly man.
Yeah.
So, and my question was like now, because he would always say yes to my grandpa. If my grandpa asked something, he would always say yes. So was my grandpa a slave owner? But he was white. So that's kind of question I wanted to put up, because you guys at the end you start talking a little bit slavery.
Yeah.
And I thought I might as well share my story.
So you have a story of you guys basically working for free for this elderly man who couldn't take care of himself.
He would work, yeah. He would stay with us because he didn't have family. He didn't have place to stay.
Yeah.
And on top of that, my grandpa would compensate him. And there was an amazing story that unveiled itself 10 years later. You know what happened, James? When the war started, after First War, people didn't have much food, including us. But Vacha, that guy who lived with us, he passed away. So my parents told us to clean up the yard. We went up to clean up the yard, and my sister found in a plastic bag with newspapers the money, lots of money. And it turned out, till this day, we don't know where the money came from, but I have a suspicion it was his money that my grandpa would pay him, and he didn't have no use for them, right? He would just put them away. And there were a lot of money.
Wow.
Yeah, and we bought like sugar, flour, like all that kind of stuff to make bread. It was an amazing story. But other than that, I like it, James. I like your presentation on the debate. I like the fact that you stay firm. And, you know, like these guys, I see them as young. I see them as unexperienced. And time will always show, right? Because you need to make mistakes to kind of learn the life. And that actually links to, the biblical question of the last week, the church yesterday.
Yeah.
It was pretty much nice. Anyways, James, that's all. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to correct myself because compensation and composted, it's two different things.
Very true.
Yeah.
Well, nice, man, and that's cool that you tune into church with J.C. Lee Peterson. Even being, aren't you a Muslim from like Eastern Europe somewhere?
Yeah, but James, I don't see it like that, right? I don't see it like labels, because churches and mosques, they were always used for the same thing, to pray to God,
okay,
through generations. So I don't see it as a bad thing as a Muslim listening to tuning into church, you know, or vice versa. I don't see it as a problem.
Right on.
Anyways, yeah, James.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm really sorry. I have to run. I'm working.
No problem, man. Good to hear from you. Thanks for the call.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. GABRIEL. Yeah, he's been tuning into the modern day debate appearances, and I've noticed him giving super chats. And shout out to you guys, Lord Bibby42 and others, giving in super chats during those debates, supporting those channels. There's some snakes supporting super chats too, going crazy. Is he bringing a backpack into a church? Someone should check it. Well, fortunately, he watches online to Church with J.C. Lee Peterson. Oh, man. Crazy. Your girlfriend says, okay, time for maize. Yeah, May's called in kind of late one of the days last week, and I wasn't able to get to her. But, interesting times, right? Let me share with you this phony, in my opinion, emotional propaganda from phony Sleepy Joe Biden. This is perhaps why he is such a successful, if you will, in a worldly sense, politician. You know, reelected over and over and over again. I mean, by that point, it's name recognition, really. Oh, I recognize that name. I'm going to vote for that name, especially if it's a Democrat, right? And this guy, and it reminds me of a story that I heard from Bill O'Reilly of he met Barack Obama before Obama became elected president. And you tried to confront him on some issue, and then Obama was like, oh, this charming guy, right, in person, very personable. So he gets the media on his side, and he gets the people whom he meets, the weak-minded people whom he meets on his side. And I think that's what this phony guy, Joe Biden, is too. And the guy whose heart that he's winning is this probably not a Christian. Gun safety is the word that they use. Really, it's gun control. It's a violation of the Second Amendment. A supposed father whose daughter was killed over there. You know, he sent his daughter to public school, and she got murdered by that guy who was, I think he might have even been on the FBI watch list at one point, Nicholas Cruz, over there in Parkland, Florida, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas School. Yeah, interesting. A liberal area, and a shooting happens. In this case, it was Nicholas Cruz, Nick with a K, not to be confused with Nicolas Gonzalez, Anchor Baby. But listen to this clip 14. This is, POTUS tweeted this out. The so-called president of the so-called United so-called States said, he tweeted, or somebody under his username tweeted, thanks for stopping by the White House. At Fred_Guttenberg. Guttenberg. It's always good to see you keep the faith and keep up the fight for gun safety reform. This guy, this phony Joe Biden, who said, fire 2 shotgun shots into the air and send the home invaders running, which is illegal to shoot up into the air, right? In most municipalities, because what goes up must come down. But anyway, Sleepy Joe Biden and this Fred Guttenberg, probably also not a Christian. I argue that Sleepy Joe Biden is not a Christian either. He's a Catholic, and he's not one of those based Groyper Catholics or Real Vincent James Catholics or Pat Buchanan Catholics or who's that guy? Vigato. I'm blanking on his name. There's some decent Catholics out there. He's not even a church militant type of Catholic. He's pro-abortion, pro-so-called same-sex marriage, anti-Second Amendment, which is against the American people and against the basic right to own and carry guns. He's against everything good, and he's for everything evil. Sleepy Joe Biden. Here he is. And this might be a little long, but here is this emotional propaganda video. It's an edited video. It's made to make Joe Biden look like this endearing, thoughtful, call this man's wife and wish him a happy anniversary. I guess this guy skipped his marriage anniversary to go to the White House by himself, I guess. I don't know. Maybe she's working or something, his wife. I think this guy's Gutenberg. That's not a Christian name, right? Even though the Gutenberg press printed the Bible, I think. But I don't know if that's any relation. Here's Sleepy Joe and this guy, Fred Guttenberg, and they're gushing over each other, pretending to be emotional, and making the women fall for it. Oh my gosh, listen to this.
How are you? You gotta be bittersweet for you, man.
Gun safety activist.
You have no idea. And let me tell you something. Today's my anniversary, but I wasn't gonna miss this today. So, what's your phone number? Hers? Yes, I'm on the phone right now.
He's going to call right now. What's her phone number?
Jennifer, this is Joe Biden. Happy anniversary, kiddo.
He clutches his chest.
Yeah. Well, we're thinking about you. I'm standing here with this guy who claims to be your husband. You know, he keeps bragging about it. Anyway, I just want to say hi.
I want to tell you something about
They're
a
wearing
month after
masks.
Jamie was killed. And if you want to know why I am so committed to this man, you were in Palm Beach for a Bo Biden Foundation event. And you pulled us, me and another Parkland dad, into a private room. And I figured we were going to have like a minute with a photo. There were about 250 people there. About 20 minutes into this, I said, you have like a whole room full of people waiting to see you, and you just said, this is more important. And you went ahead and you gave us advice on going forward from grief. And that you wanted me to know, because too many marriages break up after an event like this. And you said, no two people grieve the same way. And you all need to figure out how to support one another while grieving. And I've been very public, as you all know, and my wife has been intensely private. If not for you that day, I would have thought there was something wrong with us. You are an amazing man.
I've just been there.
That's Sleepy Joe saying, I just been there. I just been there. That emotional stuff. This isn't staged at all, says Raymond 11. You said they're wearing... maybe I shouldn't repeat that. Cover your ears, kids. Raymond 11 said they're wearing jock straps on their face. Terrible. Terrible. But it's true. It's ugly. I'm like, is this dated? Is this from like a year ago or something like that? Why are they still wearing the masks? Of course, Sleepy Joe is up there in age. But this guy, Fred Guttenberg, he's not a nice guy. He's a dumb liberal who was dumb before his daughter got killed, and now he's on a mission to go after the guns, pretending that he's for gun safety. And Sleepy Joe Biden, same thing. Oh, I lost my son, Bo Biden, and so I can relate to the emotional people whose children got killed. Give me a break. Bring that up every single time that, I don't know, you want to steal the women's hearts. Ridiculous, huh? And the women fall for it. Let me read to you some of these tweets by females on Twitter. Bad idea, ladies, being on Twitter. This made me cry, says Debbie in Wisconsin. Thank you, Joe, for being our president. I thank God for you. Not a day goes by that I'm not thankful for this man. She shares a meme. I don't have the meme to show you guys, but I'll just describe it. It has a picture of Joe Biden looking up with the shadowy behind him. And it's an Occupy Democrats meme, and it says, not a day goes by that I'm not thankful for this man. And the 81,283,361 people who voted for him. Yeah, right. Give me a break. Libertarian Party, New Hampshire based, shared a Thomas Jefferson quote in response to this. No free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. The strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms, meaning own and carry guns, and capable guns with big magazines full of lots of rounds, strong rounds, hollow points? No, whatever. As a last resort to protect themselves against a tyranny in government. Yeah, thank you, lawbritarians. I appreciate it. In this screenshot that I shared with you guys, this woman, Sassy Wench, Barbara Crowdery, tweeted, yep, this is a real man, a real president with a heart beating in his chest and has compassion and love for the people. Every day since President Biden was inaugurated, I'm so glad. Women. I'm shaking my head. Ridiculous. Speaking of women, I'm going to talk a little bit about a person who works for Disney, whom I'm not sure what he is or she is. I don't know what this person is. But he or she is talking about, in this clip, the gay agenda and transgender agenda that they want to push on the children by way of Disney cartoons. All right? But we are at the top of the hour. It is 10:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific daylight time here in Los Angeles, and it is time for a new band to play. I don't think that this is a Christian band. This is Frog Eyes. Frog Eyes. And this is from the 2003, maybe, album, The Golden River. And it's the first track on the album called 1 in 6 Children Will Flee in Boats. I hope you enjoy it, you musical Philistines. Grin and bear it. It's only 4 minutes long or so. You can press mute, I guess. But I think you might like some parts of it at least. I will be right back for the rest of hour 2. Frog Eyes, 1 in 6 children will flee in boats. Isn't this good? They're Canadian guys. Don't you like this? The guitar line right there. Hey, this is possibly the worst excuse for music I've ever heard. Please don't do this to us again. Your loyal supporters do not deserve this type of abuse. Ouch. Come on, Hake. Muted not like a mouthy wife. Swing and a miss, Hake, but we still like you. Some dude singing in the shower. The album comes with a free crack pipe. Terrible. Not good. Oh, there are some super chats I do need to read, guys. Put the singer out of his misery. He gives knives to children. No, I think he was saying you shouldn't do that necessarily. Hake, you aren't even listening to this, are you? I like it. Maybe it grew on me like the second time I listened to it. Maybe you guys need to listen to it again, but not right now. Not right now. Confused Bob Dylan? David Bowie on crack. Kind of a neurotic David Bowie. Absolute trash. Just my honest opinion. Oh my gosh. Well, I almost said I apologize. I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, okay, let me read some super chats. Let's move on, right? That was rough, Hake. Come on, Frog Eyes is good. Sounds like these Christians backslid. I don't think that they were Christians. They're Canadians. Most Canadians are not Christians. I'm just going to put that out there. They're up in like Victoria area. Frog Eyes. When will I regain the last 3 minutes? You can unmute now, guys. Please play it again. Okay, some super chats. I missed some super chats. I am remiss in reading some super chats. Asmodor stated 27 minutes ago, in response to Alexander talking about, I have over 100% of DNA or something like that. I'm not sure what he said. But he said, tell me you don't understand the results of your DNA test without telling me you don't understand the results of your DNA test. Guys like this study all night for a urine test. Yeah, thank you. Somebody said, hey, don't forget to read Asmodor's super chat in response to Alexander. Bad news. Bad news. Apologies. Thank you for the reminder. I didn't mean to miss that, for sure. Brandon M. says, I don't think you ever saw the message I sent before your debate. Actually, I did see that, but I never looked into it, Brandon M. Thanks for the super chat. He says, but one of the Disney heirs is a transgender. Charlee Corra. Charlee. Corra. Corra. So the push is obviously there from the top. Wow. What a mess. Let me look this up. Disney family member Charlee Corra comes out as trans 6 days ago, papermag.com. And this person is also a teacher/mentor at Fusion Academy, if that's the same Charlee Corra. Yeah, I think it is. Oh my gosh. Out of Los Angeles, talking in front of the so-called Human Rights Campaign, which is a radical homosexual, globo-homo, gay agenda pusher that pretends to be for, well, human rights is communism, right? We all know that. I've been over that with you before, right? If you're not sure, call me and I'll explain it to you. Amid the ongoing drama over the multi-billion-dollar, this is from Paper Mag, multi-billion-dollar media conglomerate's withering response to the passage of Florida's controversial Don't Say Gay bill, which is really the parental rights and education law, signed into law by based Governor DeSantis. I don't know how based he is, but maybe. A member of the Disney family has actually come out as trans. After having turned down a proposed $5 million donation to the Human Rights Campaign from the company, Disney co-founder Roy P. Disney and wife Sherry announced that they would instead be stepping up to the plate and matching $500,000 in donations. Equality matters deeply to us, Disney wrote, especially because our child, Charlee, probably not her real name, I don't know, playing like a male, is a transgender, a proud member of the LGBTQ plus community. Wow. A high school biology and environmental science teacher, Charlee Corra, came out early in life as gay, but it wasn't until recently that she, I guess, came out as a transgender man. Apparently it's a woman. And I say that because, you know, you have to respect reality. You have to respect the person, not the false identity, right? Respect pronouns. No. I had very few openly gay role models, says Charlie to the LA Slimes. And I certainly didn't have any trans or non-binary role models. I didn't see myself reflected in anyone. And that made me feel like there was something wrong with me. There is, buddy. There is, gal. What a mess. Even the smile to this day is girly. And speaking of that, let me just double check the super chats. Thank you guys for the super chats. Shout out to Brandon M. Thanks for the tip. Brandon M. said that Frog Eyes guy sounded like Eddie Vedder getting her. Should I say it, kids? They don't know what that is. Colonoscopy. Terrible. Okay. Since we're on this Disney thing, let me share this clip with you from a person whom I don't know who this is, but I saw this on the Daily Mail report. Isn't that a Fanatiq said in my debate with him. Daily Mail, isn't that a tabloid? I said, yes, it's a tabloid. Well, I just dismiss anything from tabloids. I tend to dismiss that unless there's a reliable source. Oh, you mean like the failing New York Slimes who didn't they ignore the Holodomor or something? Did they ignore the Holodomor? The New York Times? I think they ignored the death and destruction and murders that communism brought because they are communist sympathizers, right? They're enemies of America. But they're not a tabloid, so I'll trust them, but not Daily Mail. Well, Daily Mail has it from the horse's mouth. Here's this clip. Do I have this clip? Is it 15 or 16 or something like that? Yeah, 16. Here's this gay guy, maybe, or transgender woman, maybe. I don't know, this woman who's turned transgender, took a bunch of testosterone and grew a beard. But either way, very effeminate person and not morally straight in the way that this person is talking, working for Disney, talking about their agenda that they're pushing on the kids. Listen to this mess.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of working with the Moon Girl team for the last 2 years, and they've been really open to exploring queer stories. And I'm on the production side. Part of the work that I feel like I can put in is making sure that we take place in modern day New York. So making sure that that's an accurate reflection of New York. So I put together a tracker of our background characters to make sure that we have the full breadth of expression. And we got into a very similar conversation, Carrie, of all of our gender nonconforming characters are in the background. And so it's not just a numbers game of how many LGBTQ plus characters you have. We got the further, the more centered a story is on a character, the more nuanced you get into their story. And especially with trans characters, you can't see if someone is trans. There's not one way to look trans. And so kind of the only way to have these canonical trans characters, canonical asexual characters, canonical bisexual characters is to give them stories where they can be their whole selves.
I don't know, man. I apologize, I guess. Or forgive me, chat. Those of you who watched the video feed, if you listened to the audio feed, it may not be quite as bad. It just sounds like an effeminate person, like a deep-voiced woman, or a high-pitched voice, very effeminate guy. I don't know what that is. But that was shared on Twitter by a real Chris Rufo, right? The Christopher Rufo guy who's this normie, mainstream, palatable. I think he congratulated Dave Rubin for the gay YouTuber guy who's quote unquote married to another guy named David, and they're having children in some way through test tubes or something. Very vulgar situation, but this Christopher Rufo guy who's been anti-CRT, he exposed that this came out of a meeting. This was a private Zoom call, or I don't know if it was private. It was a Zoom call among the company members high-up company members of Disney. And I referenced Carrie Burke. I think I may have even played this clip of this Carrie Burke woman who looks like she's in her 50s. Like dark roots, blonde woman. Said that she's a mother of 2 queer children. One transgender, one pansexual. And this guy referenced Carrie Burke, who's supposedly a Disney president. I don't know what president of what. Disney's diversity and inclusion chief, Vivian Ware, said they no longer address the visitors as ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. They now say dreamers of all ages, because diversity and inclusion means that you include the misguided people and you cater to their misguidance, right? This misguided woman. And another black female apparently said, apparently an executive, I assume that's a female, says the team implemented a not at all secret gay agenda. And a Disney coordinator, that was the guy or gal. A lot of gals, when they turn so-called transgender, they stay kind of fat and they get a beard and their hairline recedes, turn kind of bald. The gals who do this, taking the T, right? Testosterone. And their voice drops a little bit, the gals. But they still think like misguided women. What a mess, huh? And Disney has put out, I covered this multiple times. Disney tweeted or put out on Instagram the rainbow with the LGBT and the transgender, maybe even the maps, who knows, and the black and brown rainbow, fake rainbow, right? Messaged, we support the LGBT agenda. So sick. Using a Mickey Mouse head. Man. Imagine how scandalized these people who founded Disney, Walt Disney, would be rolling over in his grave for that. The CEO, Bob Chapek, apologized for his silence on Florida's controversial, meaning halfway sensible, bill, which I say halfway because it doesn't go far enough, banning the gay agenda talk against kids, right? Protecting the children. So, it's a sick world, huh? Man. Let me get to Paul, a first-time caller in Ohio. Paul, thank you for calling. How are you doing?
Not bad, James. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you.
Hey, first thing I wanted to do is let you know your flag is still covered up, your beautiful Confederate flag.
Indeed, you are right. I cover it up when I go on. I have a nice, what is this, a Continental Soldier of the Revolution, covering up my beautiful rebel flag, the Southern flag, when I go on to other shows in order to protect these people's channels, because Twitch, for example, will ban you for showing the beautiful rebel flag. What a shame. But thank you for the heads up on that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't want you to, slide all the way into tomorrow and still have that covered up,
I know. Yeah. Got to get that corrected. Shout out to the beautiful South.
I got a comment on your debates, man. I've been watching them all. I think it's great going out there and getting the bond message out onto all the other little platforms and everybody else's bubble. They might not ever hear it,
Yeah.
I'm loving watching them.
Cool.
There's one thing that drives me nuts, though, and it's they all got the goofy nicknames. Like, I'm looking at all these people, especially on, like, the Hippy Dippy.
Right.
Goofy name, guy in a gamer chair kind of thing.
Right.
Then you got James Hake in the professional studio just speaking his mind. I think it boils their blood, man.
Interesting.
I'll tell you what.
Good point.
If they're going to do that, you can play along, too. You can make them call you Lord Goodhair while you're doing the debate if they ain't going to act like they got a real name, too.
That's funny. Interesting.
So, even, Brenton Langle, I don't like what he got to say, but he at least used his name, so
yeah.
good for him.
Good point. Well, thank you for tuning in, and thanks for the support and feedback. It's good to hear from you, Paul. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, keep it up, man.
All right, I will. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to be on Modern Day Debate again modern day debate again this Friday. No, is it Friday?
Great.
I think it's Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. Yeah. And I think it's going to be versus Hunter Avallone. The guy who, speaking of guys who use their real names, finally a guy who uses his real name. I know he's canceled on me so many times, but I think that it will happen. He's doing it early enough in the day. He won't be tired or anything like that, which I can relate. I can relate being tired. And he wanted to make good on having this is systemic racism real debate or systematic racism a real thing debate. We'll see if it happens, but I'm looking forward to that if so.
Yep. Well, me too. You take care, Hake. Thank you.
All right, Paul. Take care. That's cool. Blows their what? I don't know. Blows their minds or something? Boils their blood? Boils them? I don't know if he said blows or boils. Note to Hake, the South lost. Well, the South are winners in their hearts. No, the South shall rise again. Truly, America lost. America lost in the war of northern aggression, the war between the states, which some called a civil war. What a shame. Let me get to LUKA in Indiana. LUKA, how are you doing out of Indiana?
All is well, except it snowed here for some reason in April. What the?
Nice. Early spring. Yeah. Early enough in spring.
Yeah, it was. Hopefully it comes back. But yeah, I had to make a comment on your frog eyes.
You call them fog eyes?
No, frog eyes.
Yes, frog eyes. Okay. Yep.
Cool. Didn't know if it was guys or the peepers.
Frog eyes. EYES.
All right. So
Rock
in
band.
The beginning, I was digging it. It kind of had a David Bowie vibe.
Uh-huh.
But then his voice kept getting more and more like neurotic sounding, like, and that would make it go a little off key. And I think that's what the audience was hearing. You know, people want to hear pleasant tones that stay on key with the rest of the music.
That's fair. Yeah, it did make it somewhat discordant and dissident.
Yeah, I know a lot of artists do that these days. It gets more sloppy, like Modest Mouse, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
They typically call it, what is that, lo-fi music or... What's that other term now? Indie rock.
Right.
Like Pavement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that's your cup of tea, if you're used to that kind of singing, Bright Eyes is another one, then it's good stuff.
Nice. See? So it can be like an acquired taste, although maybe that's kind of degenerate to get into that. Maybe it's a sign of the decline of Canada and the decline of the white worlds that we're having all of this din in our music.
Yeah, we need more alpha singers. We need them to stand up with that strong male vocal tone, not all these high girly tones.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the feedback on Frog Eyes.
No problem.
Take care,
Everybody
Luka.
Tune in. Lord Bibby's new show tomorrow.
Nice.
Premiering. All right. Have a good one.
You as well, Luka. Take care.
Later.
Bye. Joe out of Portland, Oregon. That's PDX. Joe, how are you doing?
Hake, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Doing well as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the Disney thing. It's just, I mean, I agree with you 100%. It is just disgusting that these, and I'm cleaning up my language as I go along. I
appreciate it.
Women and children listening. But yeah, it's disgusting that these degenerates are getting in these positions of power and then pushing their sick and disgusting agenda on people, and including little children.
Right.
I mean, Disney children's films should not have these topics in them. It's just insane. to have like a asexual character or a transsexual character. What is that doing in a children's film? That's wrong. That is completely wrong.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of perverts, and it disgusts me.
That's understandable, man. It is. It's wrong. It's misguided. In some of their minds, or at least their pretense, they're saying that they are looking out for children. They're looking out for transgender children, where, you know, they're pretending that Go ahead.
They're going about it the wrong way, because if someone is trans, they have a mental illness. And I understand wanting to look out for people with mental illness.
Right.
But they're taking the approach that the mental illness is perfectly normal and natural and fine.
Yeah.
The approach they should take is if someone is noticing that a child has these mental illness issues, then they need to get that kid help for their mental health issues.
Yeah.
Not encourage it. You know, it's like if a little kid was showing signs of being sadistic or something like that, they would want to get that kid help. And that's what they should be doing if a kid is showing signs of being a trans, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of encouraging it and telling them that it's perfectly fine and okay, it's not okay.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I don't think they should be, like, punished for it, but they should get help because it's a mental health issue.
Yeah. It should be in some cases it should be punished because they're just being vulgar and they don't have the sense to know that it's wrong, and punishment can sometimes wake you up to the fact that, oh, this is actually wrong, because you sometimes forget, or people sometimes forget that they're wrong, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, for adults,
depends on the offense.
Little kids, though, I don't think they should be punished. I think they should get help.
Yeah.
You know, counseling, etc.
Yeah, but nowadays it's like illegal to counsel people away from this stuff. They can only encourage it. It's so sick.
The adults that are doing that, but they should be punished.
Yeah, but now they're changing the laws so that they're punishing the people who are Christians, for example, because you know some of the Christians may be a little misguided in their way of countering this. And so they take the bad examples of the Christians and pretend that that's everybody. And they say, oh, see, we need to outlaw Christian counseling for the gays. So it's sick. It's definitely sick.
It is sick. And most of these like 30 years ago, there was no such thing as trans kids. Most of they're just being encouraged by their liberal mothers. You know, that's the problem. Is these liberal mothers, these liberal women, they want to have a trans kid because it's like virtue signaling for them.
Yeah.
And so they encourage it. They probably tell their little kids, "Oh, you can be a boy or a girl," you know. And a little kid doesn't know any better. They're going to go along with whatever the parents say. So if they show any sign that they want to be the opposite sex, the parents the liberal mothers are probably getting all excited and encouraging it more, and then getting them on hormone therapy and getting surgeries for them and everything else.
Yeah.
So it's just very trendy right now for liberals to have a trans kid.
It really is. You'll hear stories from like the Bay Area of California, San Francisco area, where the kid, if the kid has like two moms or so-called two moms or whatever, they'll be like, oh, that's, everybody will clap for it. And then the kid is like, I know there's something wrong with this. Sometimes the kid picks up on something is wrong because God inside can still like point the truth to them, even in a world of darkness. So
yeah, I feel so bad for these little kids that are getting abused by these degenerate parents.
Yeah, especially the mothers are doing it, or people who aren't even directly mothers, but they're taking away, the father's rights thing. Fathers don't have the rights to their own children. They're taking away the children from the fathers. They being the government and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's mostly women that are behind this.
Yeah, it really is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
pointed out in the Disney debate on Saturday, because you see a whole bunch of females who are pushing this thing, and I'm suspecting that guy, that bearded person with this receded hairline whom I just played on, it was really sick. I'm sorry. But
yeah, I saw it. It was sick.
I suspect that might have been an actual female.
Yeah, I think it was.
Terrible.
I think it was a woman that just took a lot of hormone and testosterone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not enough, though.
So there's people are talking about boycotting Disney. Disney owns a ton of companies.
Yeah, don't they own like ABC? They bought ABC, I think.
ESPN, Touchstone Pictures, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar. I mean, they own a lot. So it makes it difficult.
Yeah, you can't really get away from it. And it's not just Disney, honestly. Disney's just one player in this whole degenerate world. Google, Twitter, Facebook, Meta, Amazon, the whole mainstream media, including faux news, because they hired what's his name, Bruce Jenner, to be like a contributor or something like that.
Right. They're all pushing this woke, radical left-wing agenda. And it's disgusting. And the commercials you see on TV, the ads you see, it's all like, a lot of them have the alphabet people in them, or they're all, it's rare that you see white people anymore in commercials. And now a lot of these ads have morbidly obese people in them too.
Yeah.
Because there's the fat people are pushing their agenda as well.
Right.
So it's just going down. Our whole culture, American culture, is going down the drain.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate it, Joe. It's nice to hear from you, man.
All right, brother. You take it easy.
All right. You too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. You guys know that what's his name is trying to buy Twitter? Elon Musk. Save us, Elon Musk. I saw this tweet from Not the Bee saying Libs of Tik Tok got suspended on Twitter. I think, I don't know how many times this has happened. Libs of Tik Tok they've gone viral quite a bit because they gather ridiculous clips and things of people on TikTok and people on Twitter and other incidents. I think it's a young lady, a young woman. They were suspended she was suspended on Twitter. I think it's a she, right? Suspended on Twitter for targeted harassment. And when you zoom in on this abuse and harassment and this tweet, if you zoom in on this tweet, it said something, what does it say? Hold on. Because I actually have it. It said something, apparently a female not wanting to change in front of a male is transphobic. Wow. And that was violating our rules against abuse and harassment. Delete this tweet. You may not engage in the targeted harassment of someone or incite other people to do so. This includes wishing or hoping that someone experiences physical harm. By clicking delete, you acknowledge that your tweet violated the Twitter rules. And, excuse me, what? So Libs of Tik Tok shared a message. Hi, all. Shortly after my Twitter account was restored, I received a notice of another suspension. This time for targeted harassment. I submitted an appeal, but I'm locked out while I wait for a response. These back-to-back suspensions are not a coincidence. The left has been targeting and mass reporting my account. Twitter, of course, keeps caving to the mob, but I've done nothing wrong, and I'm not going to give up. I'll never be bullied into silence. Join my newsletter. Blah, blah, blah. And this happened to me. This has happened to many of you guys. If you guys are even allowed to be on Twitter, period. Many of you guys. I've told this story before. I tweeted in response to, remember the Obamas, Barack and Michelle Obama got these vulgar POC painters to paint their portraits, and one of them had once painted paintings of like portraying black females holding the severed white women's heads, meaning they had chopped the heads off of these white women and were carrying them. And multiple paintings by this one person, painted like Michelle Obama's portrait, or maybe it was Barack Obama's portrait, presidential portrait, just vulgar. And the portraits that they made of these people were just ugly. And so some woman, probably not a Christian, mocked this notion that said, the portrait artist once painted paintings of black women holding white women's severed heads. Well, white people once owned black people as slaves. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Slavery has nothing to do with murder. Slavery was not murder. Murder was wrong outright. Slavery, okay, I guess you can argue that that's not ideal, right? We prefer freedom. But murder is worse than slavery. And on top of that, black on white crime is out of control. So this Black Panther woman type of a person, right? Radical black female, said, oh, racism, whites are targeting blacks. I said, no. Black people kill more than twice as many whites as vice versa every year, which is true. And they said, oh, that's targeted harassment. That is glorification of violence. Twitter locked me out of my account and made me delete the tweet. Please, Twitter, let me have my account back. I violated your rules. You're not supposed to, I guess you're not supposed to disagree with a black female. She'll report you and then Twitter will ban you. What a mess, huh? For citing something that's like factually true. Citing FBI statistics. Give me a break. Save us, Elon Musk. Oh, man. Elon Musk offered, what, $41 or $43 billion to buy Twitter and impose free speech upon the world rather than impose the world on America, right? We're an American company, supposedly. These are American companies who don't support the First Amendment. They don't support the spirit of the freedom of speech. They say, oh, there's such a thing as hate speech. We're going to follow whatever China and Europe, these... I want to say it. I don't know if I should say it, though. These countries that make me want to spit because they forsake their own countrymen in favor of evil people and pretend that wrong is right and right is wrong, and you can't criticize the gays. You can't tell the truth about homosexuality or women or the Muslims or the blacks or POCs. You can't have this fake thing called hate speech, which means telling the truth that the liberals hate, right? Elon Musk wants free speech, and I don't even think he's a Christian. So Twitter's like, no, we don't want that. Instead of accepting, this is from David Sachs, who is a venture capitalist guy, right? Something like that. He's a blue check mark on Twitter. He said, instead of accepting, and he shares an Axios article talking about Twitter adopts this poison pill in a bid to thwart Elon Musk's takeover. Because they're like cheapening the price of their stocks artificially to sell more to other people so that it's more expensive and more expensive for Elon to buy Twitter. Instead of accepting Elon's premium to the share price, Twitter's board is planning to dilute the company. Dilute, meaning water down the company. Make it less valuable by giving insiders a sweetheart deal. This is a blatant violation of fiduciary duty and should be illegal, according to David Sachs. S-A-C-K-S, not to be confused with like Goldman Sachs, which is S-A-C-H-S, I think. Elon is agnostic, says Alexander. Well, thank you. Interesting. Mike Cernovich, who's that center-left guy whom I have referenced before, has guest hosted on the JLP show, been on the Fallen State in years past. He said Goldman Sachs had a seller rating on Twitter for $30 a share, right? Now they're saying Elon's $54 per share offer is too low. He said this is a microcosm of how the housing market crashed. They're artificially inflating the costs of things. All these ratings and bankers are utter frauds. It's criminal, he says. Wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Premium. Twitter management's job, says Cernovich on Twitter, is to make shareholders money. Elon Musk is offering a quick 38% profit for them, for the shareholders, and they're going to fight that. Another myth of capitalism on display right now. These public markets are frauds. Twitter execs should be marched, Twitter execs, it is, as in executives, should be marched into jail under a functioning free market system. And it's just like what Chris said to me in the chat here. A company can't do whatever it wants. Like we were talking about Disney. Oh, Disney can promote all kinds of degeneracy and push that on kids. Well, no, they can't. They're not supposed to anyway. We're supposed to impose on them. We had pretty strict rules in decades past against this, sex stuff and all that sick indecency and perversion. But now it's just getting loosey-goosey. Not in a good way, right? And that's typical woman thinking. That'll give way to the evil people. Slippery slope is real. So wrong. Let me check the super chats over here. Crazy. Oh, wow. Okay, so let me read this super chat from Forever Rochelle. Thank you, Forever Rochelle. Boy, bye. She can post all she wants on Twitter because it's her right. It ain't like white women's husbands, brothers, and uncles won't be working as police slaughtering our brothers on the street in cold blood. And she said nothing. I say collateral damage. Is this a reference to Libs of Tik Tok getting banned? She can post all she wants on Twitter because it's her right. It ain't like white women's husbands, brothers, and uncles won't be working as police slaughtering our brothers, meaning the blacks. Rochelle. Is Rochelle black? Forever Rochelle? Or is it Rochelle Walensky, the non-Christian woman, scared CDC director? Rochelle? I'm not sure. Maybe she's part black. Slaughtering our brothers on the streets in cold blood, and she said nothing. I say collateral damage. Well, thank you, Forever Rochelle. Nice to hear from you. It's been a little while. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Brandon M. says about this person whom I suspect is really a female, but looks like a male. Brandon M. says if they, meaning he or she, is taking testosterone, it's most likely going to include DHT, and excessive DHT causes balding. Which I'm an expert at, says Brandon M. Interesting. Well, thank you, guys. It's terrible. Did you hear that speaking of this Marjorie Stoneman Douglas situation, where they have this non-Christian guy going over to the White House, skipping his anniversary with his wife, whom he probably doesn't have any love for, doesn't certainly have any love for America, so probably doesn't love his wife. In fact, definitely. And he's fighting against the right to own and carry guns, right? Capable guns. This Guttenberg. And then Joe Biden's like, oh, keep the faith. What faith? Give me a break. Anyway, this little report from a month ago out of 7 News Miami, WSVN. It's an Associated Press, actually. Far left Associated Press. Stoneman Douglas massacre families. Stoneman Douglas is the name of the school over there. It was February 14th, 2018, I want to say it was. Valentine's Day 2018. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Federal officials confirmed Wednesday that the U.S. Department of So-Called Justice has reached a multi-million-dollar settlement with the so-called families of most of those killed or wounded in a 2018 Florida high school massacre over the FBI's failure to stop the gunman. That's Nicholas Cruz. Even though it had received information that he intended to attack. Wow. Attorneys for 16 out of the 17 killed in Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, and some of those wounded previously announced in November that they had reached a monetary settlement with the government over the FBI's failure to investigate a tip that they received about a month before the massacre. 17th family chose not to sue. So they announced last month that the settlement resolves 40 cases connected to the shooting for $127.5 million. The settlement does not amount to an admission of fault by the United States, according to the Justice Department news release. 5 weeks before February 14th, 2018 shooting, an FBI tip line received a call saying the former Stoneman Douglas student, Nicholas Cruz, with Nicholas with a K, had bought guns and planned to slip into a school and start shooting the place up. I know he's going to explode, the caller told the FBI. That information was never forwarded to the FBI's South Florida office, and Cruz was never contacted. He'd been expelled from school a year earlier and had a long history of emotional and behavioral problems. Nicholas Cruz, age 23, pleaded guilty last October to 17 counts of first-degree murder, will receive either a death sentence or life in prison after a penalty trial scheduled to start in April. I wonder if that's started yet. But this is quite common, and I don't know how busy they are. I know that they find the time, the FBI, right? The FBI find the time to, like, frame whites and Trump supporters and Christians, right? Isn't that what they do in whites? Don't they find the time to like, mess around with the whites and pretend the whites are the terrorists? Give me a break. You know? Some people in the chat think that these are all hoaxes. That these shootings are hoaxes. Calm down, guys. Don't type in all caps. Miklo El Chicano is like, ha ha ha. Hake believes that kids with mental issues can be great gunmen with plenty of time. Much love, Hank. Well, thank you, Miklo. And it's because a caller called into my show last week saying, you know, I think that this smells flaggy. This Brooklyn subway shooting smells flaggy. Not one person was shot. Well, blacks don't tend to kill people when they shoot because they shoot sideways. No, I'm kidding around. But yeah, I mean, maybe that's part of it. But you know, the reason I saw this was that the center-left guy whom I mentioned before, Cernovich, tweeted, you know, let's do a thread of mass shooters that the FBI had previously been aware of. And he mentions the Pulse nightclub shooter. Remember that gay nightclub over there in, what was that, Orlando, Florida? He was reported to the FBI. He lied to the agents, but he was set free. Not like other people who allegedly, quote unquote, lied to agents. Like that guy, that nationalist, 3-star general, Michael Flynn. His dad had also been a longtime FBI asset / informant and a Hillary supporter. He turned up, this Pulse nightclub shooter, his father turned up at a Hillary Clinton rally, and he was posted right behind her because he's a POC, or looks, you know, ethnic. So they put him behind her. I think, if I remember right, the Pulse nightclub shooter, his dad showed up at a Hillary Clinton rally, and he's like this dumb Democrat. Why are these Muslims, if they're such good Muslims, Democrats? Same thing with the Jews, I guess, and more of the fake Christians, I guess. So phony. The female mindset, huh? And so there's case after case of this. The Boston Marathon bombers. Boston Marathon is today, guys. Did you know that? Or maybe it's already happened. But the Boston Marathon, well, some people are still running or hobbling. But the Boston Marathon, what is that, 9 years ago or 10 years ago? I think it was 9 years ago. The Zokhar Tsarnaev and Tamerlan Tsarnaev, they shot up, or they didn't shoot. They planted like pressure cookers filled with nails and shrapnel and killed some people and maimed some people. FBI in failure. Double entendre. It's kind of redundant to say FBI in failure, huh? Boston was faked too? Slam free poetry is all over it. Come on, not everything is fake. Hake, where can I find some holly drift? I don't know. If you have trouble, I guess I could Dropbox you. If you can't find Matthias Anderson. It's a side question. Sorry, I was reading the chat. Yeah, but it's crazy. It's out of control. These feds. But they're sure to search out every last person who participated in the January 6th mostly peaceful Capitol protest. Give me a break. Somebody said Adam Lanza was known. Somebody said that the Las Vegas shooter, remember that Las Vegas shooting was known? Thousand Oaks shooting, maybe? Out of control. Somebody said the FBI can only prevent the crimes they create. Didn't the FBI find those guys who were gonna kidnap the governor of Michigan? Anyway, it's beating a dead horse. Everybody knows the FBI is a bunch of corrupt, dumb liberals for the most part, right? Look at them. I mean, look at them. The guys who are the heads of the FBI. Who's that guy that you guys wanted Trump to fire, but he never fired him? And Real Vincent James wanted Trump to fire him. Somebody in the chat tell me. But you look at that tall guy who's like this girly male. He's supposedly a Republican, total rhino. His wife and daughters participated in the Women's March the day after Trump was inaugurated. The Women's March, which was pro-abortion and everything disgusting. Sorry, guys, I'm just stretching out a little bit. What's that guy's name? Jim Comey. Yeah, Comey. But there was another guy who, FBI director, Christopher Wray. Bill Barr, yeah, I know. But Christopher Wray, FBI director or whatever. Another dumb, he's a Republican. No, he's not. A total rhino. Yeah, thank you, Matt, living the dream. Christopher Wray. These sick people. So anyway, you and I all know that the FBI are dumb liberals. Comey got fired, yeah, but Christopher Wray did not, and he should have been. Basically just supporting the establishment against Trump, against you, and against the Americans. So sick. I have another little story or two here in the last 5 minutes to share with you. This is kind of crazy. Should I tell this to you? Okay, no, let me do this one. The Portland Police Bureau. This was a tip on Twitter. It happened, it was reported yesterday morning, Sunday morning, Easter morning. The Portland Police Bureau says a group of demonstrators lit a dumpster on fire at the North Precinct and damaged several businesses on Saturday night. Talk about hell, huh? Portland, Oregon. Terrible. Smashed windows, committed arson, and that's Antifa, I would assume. Am I wrong for assuming that it's Antifa? Oh, yeah. I mean, they left their calling card. Maybe it's a frame job. Maybe it was white Christians, white supremacists. But Portland, Oregon, according to KOIN, a group of protesters set fire to a dumpster. That's a trash bin, right? It's the proper name, actually. It's a company's proper name, dumpster. To Portland Police Bureau's North Precinct Saturday night caused significant damage to several businesses nearby, according to police. They gathered around 8 p.m. at Peninsula Park, began walking through the neighborhood about an hour later. Some in the group vandalized a Starbucks coffee shop on Northeast Martin Luther King Boulevard. Stay away from Martin Luther King Boulevard wherever you are. Near Ainsworth Street, breaking windows and launching explosive devices into the building. At the building, I mean. 2 banks were also hit, tagged with graffiti and phrases like Antifa, to quote Trump, and revenge is coming. 3 bus stops left shattered. Police weren't able to extinguish the blaze by themselves. Portland Fire and Rescue came to the scene. Neighbors said they're not surprised, but it's frustrating. I think it's a shame because I use public transportation, so I hate to see the bus stops being vandalized. Doesn't mind the businesses and the police precincts vandalized, apparently, says this Scott Hone guy. Just an awful situation we've got going on here. I'm concerned for Portland. It's changed a lot since I've lived here these 22 years. Maybe he does care about that. I don't want to put words in his mouth, right? According to social media posts, many were protesting following the April 4th shooting death of 26-year-old Patrick Lyoya in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's that black whom I told you about, who I think he might have been an African. Not even an American. Not sure, though. Video was released earlier this week showing the death. And these people in Portland, Oregon, complete other state, multiple states away if I know my geography, which I don't, but I think I do a little bit. Between Oregon and Michigan. Michigan is, what is that, Eastern time or Central time? Portland is out west here. Not good. So, yeah, BLM still pushing their mess to this day. So sick. So sick.
To this day.
But I saw this headline, and I don't know who did this or why, but I saw this little headline that in South Carolina, somebody who was condemned to death, right? Getting the death penalty in South Carolina. I assume it's a he. Did not want the electric chair. He wanted the firing squad. I would not want either one. I mean, I don't want to die. But yeah, a death row inmate chooses the firing squad for the state's first execution since 2011. What's up with the beautiful South? They're not even executing people. Richard Moore got 8 days to decide how exactly he wants to die. On Friday, he made his choice. This is a report from just a few days ago, I think. Yeah, just the other day. Been on South Carolina's death row for 21 years. Ridiculous. Justice needs to be swift. Scheduled for execution by April 29th, 57-year-old Spartanburg man had determined which execution method they would be responsible for ending his life, the state's 110-year-old electric chair or a 3-man firing squad. He picked the newest option offered by the state, the firing squad. Lethal injection, not an option. He said he did not believe either method was legal or constitutional. What a guy. This guy is probably, I'm assuming that he committed a crazy murder, right? Normally, like you've committed a crazy murder or something. That's when you get the death penalty. I believe the execution is forcing me to choose between 2 unconstitutional methods of execution. What a mess, huh? Where's the story on his crime? Some Democrat, Justin Bamberg, it's not right. Let me show you this photo, though, in the last minute here. Let me drag it in to the folder, electric chair. Here's the tweet. Some women getting all involved saying, this is grotesque beyond words, beyond words. Some woman activist, blue check mark. And she quote tweeted this Mary Caitlin Bird woman, said the South Carolina Department of Corrections just released this photo showing renovated capital punishment facility as seen from the witness room, the firing squad chair So they put the firing squad people in a chair. They don't make them stand against the wall, right? Wow, yikes. And the covered chair is the electric chair, which doesn't move. Zoom in on that. That is trippy, man. Sherilyn Hill, Eiffel or whatever, said, grotesque beyond words. Well, cover your eyes or don't be paying attention to the news. It's not your concern, Sherilyn. And, but look at that. Look at that chair. Look at those chairs. So I guess they strapped them in the chair. Sorry, kids. It's a little vulgar. I mean, non-emotional kids will be fine with this. But yeah, they, wow. Yikes. The one in the background, apparently, I think the one in the background, yeah, is the firing squad chair. And you can tell because there's a curtain in front of the brick wall, which I assume is meant to stop the rounds that may go through the person or they may miss, right? Because you don't want rounds flying through walls. So that's probably hopefully a reinforced brick wall. You know, South Carolina, they're the South. They know what they're doing. I assume. I don't want to give them too much credit. And then the one that's covered is the electric chair. Yikes. Yikes. Anyway, that's interesting. Very nice. Yes, bring back the death penalty. We need swift justice and not a 21-year wait where this guy has the nerve to say, oh, it's unconstitutional. So dumb. Anyway, guys, Nick asks, no headshots for funerals, I wonder? Yeah, his family may want I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys. This has been the Hake Report. I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Take care.